All right, everybody, welcome to the first overrated, underrated video for the 2022 fantasy football season. And again, anybody that's followed me, the Fantasy Sports Boss, on my old website that I did for 15 years before converting mainly just to Twitter and the YouTube channel, the new YouTube channel. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure you do that. And also hit the notification button. This feature, the overrated, underrated feature, is where I take two players from the same position that have similar numbers that are in range of one another, but are being drafted at quite a different range. All right. And so obviously the cheaper guy is the better buy, even though one is much more pricey at the draft table than the other. So we're going to start at the wide receiver position today. And specifically speaking, I'm going to talk about Tampa Bay's Mike Evans and the Los Angeles Chargers' Mike Williams. All right, so the two Mikes. Now, if you compare the two, it's almost a carbon copy of each other in terms of numbers last season. So last season, in terms of receptions, Mike Evans caught 74 passes. Mike Williams caught 76 passes. All right, so Williams with two more receptions between the two. Now, as far as yardage, you would think, oh, Mike Evans, he's the yardage king, 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons, the only player in NFL history to do such a thing. But Evans only had 1,035 yards, which he barely went over that threshold. Mike Williams, on the other hand, went for 1,146 yards. So Williams with 100-plus more yards than Evans. So that's 2 for 2 now, Williams winning over Evans in two categories. The one disparity were touchdowns. So Evans caught 14 touchdowns and Williams caught 9. So it's a win by 5 for Evans. But in 2 of the 3 main categories between the two, Williams comes out on top. But here's the interesting part. Already this season, currently, and I checked before I came on, Mike Evans' current ADP in PPR leagues is 26th overall. All right, so we're talking the early third round portion of drafts. Mike Williams, his ADP right now is 49. All right, at the start of the 5th round. So you're getting a guy in Williams 2 rounds cheaper than Evans, and Williams beat Evans in 2 of the 3 prime categories for receivers last season. And if you talk about this season, you can make the argument that Williams has a better chance to blow by his draft spot than Evans. All right? The reason being is that Keenan Allen, as great as Keenan Allen is, and he's been for a long time, he's now reached the age of 30, and his average depth per reception has started to decline the last 2 years. Williams, on the other hand, really developed a good rapport with Justin Herbert, and I expect that rapport to grow even more this season. And considering we're talking about the AFC West, where there's going to be shootouts on a weekly basis, I think Williams is going to improve on the 76 catches that he had a year ago. I think Williams could push up on 90 receptions. That's how insane the passing volume is going to be in the division this season. And 1,146 yards, I think he can go over 1,200 yards, and he could catch 10 touchdowns. Evans, meanwhile, is going to have to deal with a returning Chris Godwin eventually. Julio Jones was brought in. All right, you have Russell Gage, who was brought in to hold the fort until Godwin gets back. And then when Godwin gets back, you have another guy that can be a factor in the passing game. And then Leonard Fournette, one of the best pass-catching backs in the league, coming out of the backfield. So with Evans, you get the sense that his numbers last season are pretty much as good as you can get. 14 receiving touchdowns. I mean, that's asking a lot to be repeated. Evans, historically has been tremendous in that category, but 14 receiving touchdowns is a very tough number to duplicate. So, again, we're talking about Mike Williams, who I think still has upside to his game, whereas Mike Evans doesn't. And Evans is already dealing with a hamstring issue. Seems to be okay now, but that's another thing you got to worry about. So, Mike Williams, 2 rounds cheaper than Mike Evans. The numbers are similar. And going forward, Williams has upside I don't think Evans has. So in this first overrated, underrated, Mike Williams is the better buy between the two. They're similarly skilled, deep threat guys, yardage touchdown guys, not overly great in raw receptions, but Williams, I think, could get to 90 receptions this season. I don't think Evans could. Okay? And I think Williams will have more yardage as well. Again, because the AFC West, every week they're going to be airing it out. I mean, you see the quarterbacks in that division. It's going to be like a weekly shootout almost every game in this division. So you want more bang for your draft dollar, Mike Williams is the way to go, not Mike Evans. And the numbers don't lie. All right, so again, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button. There'll be more overrated, underrateds being posted, along with any injury updates and sleeper and bust posts. All right, so until then, we'll talk soon.